Hello guys, today I'll be doing the evolution of Nintendo controllers. We've come a long way from the NES to the Switch, and I thought it'd be interesting to show you how far we've come. So this is the original NES controller. This is the controller for the system that started it all. Brought the game industry out of the crash. And it's pretty simple. It's got two buttons, start and select, and the first D-pad on a console, I believe. And then the connector looks like this. If it would focus, you could see that it has about 7 pins. So, a few years later, they released the Super Nintendo. They added 2 new buttons to the side. They obviously changed the color scheme, and they also did a little bit of slanting action right there. And here's the shoulder buttons, and got 7 pins again, but it's in a different layout. A few years later, we get 3D games, and eventually the release of the Nintendo 64. Still, it was obviously designed for somebody with 3 hands or an alien, but it's a really interesting design. The joysticks on these things were terrible, so people just would have to replace them. I've gone through a lot of these controllers, and you can actually see that this one's pretty loose by itself. Instead of having a second joystick like today, you have 3 buttons right there. You have shoulder buttons and a Z button on the back, place for your memory card or rumble pack. So you couldn't save your game and have rumble feature at the same time, which kind of sucked. The controllers actually had 3 pin connectors, if you can see that. So then we move on to the GameCube. This was a really awesome system, Nintendo's first disc-based system, even though they had like tiny discs. But you still have your D-pad. It's really small this time. Instead of having the C buttons, you have a C stick. You also have these shoulder buttons. Z button's been moved to here. Had rumble feature built in. Probably one of the best controllers for a game system, behind probably the Xbox 360 and Xbox One. They have really good controllers. And my joystick's kind of loose. I'm not sure if that's a huge issue, like the N64, but... And I'm not even sure how many pin connectors are on that, but you get the point. Yeah, they also released a wireless one called the Wavebird, but I don't have one of those, and all it added was like a bit of bulk down there, so it's not a huge difference. Now, a few years roll by and we get the most revolutionary system yet, the Wii. This is a Wiimote. It also came with like a skin, so you wouldn't throw it into your TV, or if you did, it wouldn't break it. But I like to keep it off because it's pretty ugly. And I never played this anyway. Had like a built-in wrist strap, so you could play your games also like a NES controller. Or if you wanted, you could attach another joystick. I also had the Z button moved to the back again and had a power button on the controller, which is pretty cool. So you take your joystick, plug it into the back, and get it in there, and then you play with 2 hands, and you could use a joystick. Pretty cool. So then we move on, and they release the Wii U, which was not a success at all, but it's a cool controller. Got your stylus right here. Had a touch screen in it, of course, resistive touch screen, so it wasn't that good. But it supported stylus control. Instead of 1 Z button, you get 2 Z buttons. And you have shoulder buttons. That's where the infrared goes. Also had a gyroscope and an accelerometer like the Wii controller. Home button. TV controls. This was a really cool controller. Had 2 joysticks, and this clicked in, unlike the nunchuck, which is the joystick for this. This thing didn't click in. Yeah. So then we get to modern day. Nintendo Switch. If we actually compare this to the GameCube, it's fairly similar. You don't have a D-pad anymore, you have this. And similar button layout to a 360 controller. Or actually, the pioneer of that, which is a Super Nintendo, similar button layout. You got your plus and minus button, which is similar to the Wii controller and the Wii U controller. So it comes with something called a Joy-Con grip, which actually makes this controller very similar, surprisingly, to the Wiimote, which is right here. See, they both have wrist straps. I mean, it's not very similar, but it's a very closely related design and concept. Got your your straps. This one has a joystick on it, so that's an improved design. And this one actually has a D-pad, unlike the normal Switch. Now there's one more Switch iteration, and I'll show that to you now. Now this is tablet / handheld mode. And ignore these bubbles right here. Those are the screen protector. I didn't apply it correctly, but if you compare this to the Wii U controller, it's very, very different. This is a lot slimmer and doesn't look like a Fisher-Price toy. And you know, you got your buttons right here. The joystick has been moved down. The home button has been moved down. These joysticks do click in, by the way. Got your plus and minus button on the side compared to this where I moved forward. Got a screenshot button right there. Got all your buttons. This one has a camera, which is interesting. Kind of sucks that they removed that. And they also removed your TV control, but the Switch automatically turns on your TV. So, yeah, that's the evolution of Nintendo controllers. We've come a long way since 1985. And I thought it would be interesting to show. So, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and comment. And subscribe if you want to see more content like this.